The 1970s gave us some of the most unforgettable voices in music history. These weren't just singers, they were cultural icons who shaped the sound of an entire decade and influenced everything that came after. From rock to soul, from country to pop, these artists created music that still fills stadiums and streaming playlists today. Some of them are still performing, some have stepped back from the spotlight, but all of them left a mark that can never be erased. Today, we're looking at 15 legendary singers who defined the 70s and seeing where they are now, decades later. Let's dive in. Stevie Nicks, the mystical voice behind Fleetwood Mac's biggest hits and a powerful solo artist in her own right. During the 70s, Stevie brought something completely different to rock music. That flowing bohemian style, those haunting vocals, the way she moved on stage like she was casting spells. Songs like Rhiannon and Dream showcased a voice that was both delicate and powerful, mysterious and direct. She wrote lyrics that felt like poetry, and her presence made Fleetwood Mac one of the biggest bands in the world. The album Rumors became one of the best-selling records of all time, and Stevie was at the center of it all. Her voice cut through everything else, and her style influenced countless artists who came after. She wasn't just a singer. Stevie Nicks remains remarkably active and influential. She still performs, still records, and still commands stages with that same mystical presence. Her voice has aged but retained its distinctive character. Stevie never stopped being Stevie, and that consistency has made her a living legend who bridges multiple generations of music fans. And while Stevie maintained her mystical presence across decades, the next artist brought flamboyance and showmanship that redefined what a pop star could be. Elton John, the piano man who exploded across the 1970s with a combination of incredible musicianship and over-the-top showmanship. Those outrageous costumes, those giant glasses, that ability to command a piano like no one else. Elton wasn't just writing hit songs, he was creating moments. Your song, Rocket Man, Tiny Dancer, Benny and the Jets, Goodbye Yellow Brick Road. The list of classics goes on and on. He could write a ballad that would break your heart and then follow it with an up-tempo rocker that made you want to dance. Elton brought theatricality to rock and pop music in ways that opened doors for everyone who came after. He was fearless, talented, and absolutely unique. Elton John remains one of music's most beloved icons. He recently completed his Farewell Yellow Brick Road tour, a massive global goodbye that took years and broke records. Even in his 70s, he can still sit at that piano and deliver performances that remind everyone why he became legendary. Elton continues to be honored, celebrated, and loved by fans across generations. He proved that you can be flamboyant, honest, and hugely successful all at once. And while Elton brought theatrical flash to pop music, the next artist defined rock and roll swagger for an entire generation. Mick Jagger, the face and voice of the Rolling Stones, the man who defined what a rock frontman should be. Those lips, those moves, that energy that never seemed to stop. During the 70s, the Stones were at their absolute peak. Albums like Sticky Fingers and Exile on Main Street became blueprints for rock music. Mick's voice had this raw quality that was perfect for the gritty blues-based rock the Stones created. He could strut across the stage like no one else, and his presence was magnetic. Songs like Brown Sugar, Wild Horses, and Tumbling Dice showcased a band at the height of their powers, and Mick was the focal point. He brought danger, sex appeal, and pure rock energy to every performance. The Stones became the greatest rock and roll band in the world, and Mick was the reason people couldn't look away. Mick Jagger remains surprisingly active for someone in his 80s. He's still thriving, still relevant, and still the frontman of the world's greatest rock band. And while Mick embodied rock swagger, the next artist brought bold style and a voice that crossed genres and decades. Cher, the goddess of pop who dominated the 70s with a voice like no one else, and a style that constantly evolved. That deep, distinctive voice, those Bob Mackie outfits that pushed every boundary, the ability to reinvent herself over and over. During the 70s, Cher was everywhere. She had her variety show with Sunny, then went solo and proved she didn't need anyone else. Songs like Gypsies, Tramps, and Thieves and Half-Breed showcased a voice that was powerful and unique. She could sing pop, rock, disco, whatever the moment required. Cher remains a public figure and cultural icon who refuses to fade away. She still performs occasionally, still makes public appearances, and still has opinions she shares freely. She conquered it multiple times and remains widely recognized and beloved. And while Cher reinvented herself constantly, the next artist brought elegance and a voice that defined an era. Diana Ross, one of the biggest female voices and style icons of the 70s. Coming out of the Supremes, Diana established herself as a solo powerhouse. That sophisticated style, that graceful presence, that voice that could deliver both strength and vulnerability. Songs like Ain't No Mountain High Enough and Touch Me in the Morning became massive hits. She wasn't just singing, she was creating moments of pure emotion. Diana brought elegance to soul and pop music. Her performances were polished, her style was impeccable, and her voice carried a warmth that made every song feel personal. She crossed over from Motown star to international icon, appearing in films and commanding stages worldwide. Diana Ross represented excellence and grace in everything she did. Diana Ross retains a Ovid legacy that spans decades and influences artists across generations. Diana Ross proved that you can be both a commercial success and an artist with integrity, and her influence continues to shape popular music. If you're still with us, take a moment to like this video, subscribe, and turn on notifications. Your support helps us share these stories and celebrate the legends who shaped music history. Barry Manilow, the master of emotional ballads who dominated the charts throughout the 1970s with songs that tugged at heartstrings. That smooth voice, those piano skills, the ability to craft melodies that stuck in your head forever. Barry wasn't trying to be cool or edgy. He was trying to make you feel something, and he succeeded brilliantly. Songs like Mandy, Copacabana, Can't Smile Without You, and I Write the Songs became massive hits that defined the softer side of 70s pop. His concerts were events where people came to sing along and feel emotions openly. Barry brought craftsmanship to pop music, focusing on melody and emotion over trends. He was a songwriter, someone who understood how to build a song that would last. Critics might have dismissed him as too soft, but millions of fans disagreed and made him one of the decade's biggest stars. Barry Manilow continues to perform and has maintained a loyal, dedicated fan base that spans generations. He's in his 80s now, but still approaches performing with professionalism and genuine appreciation for his audience. And while Barry brought emotional ballads to the masses, the next artist brought raspy rock and roll energy that made him unforgettable. Rod Stewart, the raspy-voiced rocker with that distinctive spiky blonde hair and rock and roll swagger. During the 70s, Rod was everywhere, dominating both rock and pop charts. That voice was impossible to mistake, rough and soulful and perfect for the blues rock he excelled at. Songs like Maggie May, Tonight's the Night, You're in My Heart, and Die Ya Think I'm Sexy showed his range from tender ballads to up-tempo rockers. Rod could sell out arenas playing straight rock with the Faces, then turn around and deliver pop hits that topped charts worldwide. He brought personality to every performance, always looking sharp in those tight pants and fashionable jackets. Rod made rock and roll look fun, sexy, and accessible. He was the guy everyone wanted to party with, the voice everyone wanted to hear. Rod Stewart remains active and continues to perform, though age has become more visible. He still tours and releases albums, showing dedication to his craft that spans over 5 decades. And while Rod's raspy voice defined rock swagger, the next artist brought vocal power and control that set new standards. Barbra Streisand, one of the most technically gifted vocalists ever to record music and a dominant force throughout the 1970s. That voice had range, power, and emotional depth that few could match. Barbra could sing anything from Broadway to pop to soft rock and make it sound effortless. The Way We Were became one of the decade's most iconic songs, showcasing her ability to deliver emotion with perfect technical control. Evergreen from A Star Is Born won her an Oscar and showed she could write as well as sing. Barbra wasn't just a singer. She was a complete artist who directed films, acted, and constantly pushed herself into new territories. Her perfectionism was legendary, and so was her talent. She demanded excellence from herself and everyone around her, and the results spoke for themselves. Barbara is remembered and revered as one of the most influential vocalists in popular music history. She still makes occasional public appearances and has released albums in recent years, though she performs live rarely now. Her voice remains remarkably strong for someone in her 80s, and when she does sing, people pay attention. Barbara has become an advocate for various causes and remains politically active, never afraid to speak her mind. She's an EGOT winner with multiple Grammys, Emmys, Oscars, and Tonys. And while Barbara set vocal standards, the next artist came from the biggest band in history and proved he could succeed beyond it. Paul McCartney. After the Beatles changed the world in the 60s, Paul became a solo superstar throughout the 70s, proving he didn't need the Fab Four to make history. He formed Wings and created a new sound that was lighter and more accessible than his Beatles work, but still deeply musical and crafted. Songs like Band on the Run, Maybe I'm Amazed, Silly Love Songs, and Live and Let Die showed his versatility and continued genius for melody. Paul could write a simple love song or a complex musical arrangement with equal skill. His bass playing remained innovative, his voice stayed strong, and his ability to craft hooks that stuck in your head seemed endless. The 70s proved that Paul McCartney wasn't just a member of the Beatles. He was a musical force in his own right. His voice has aged, but maintains its character and charm. He's in his 80s, but moves around stage with energy that amazes audiences. He never stopped making music, never stopped pushing himself, and never stopped connecting with audiences worldwide. And while Paul proved his genius beyond the Beatles, the next artist brought country charm and crossover appeal that made her a household name. Dolly Parton. The country pop queen with that distinctive voice, that huge personality, and that charm that won over everyone she met. During the 70s, Dolly broke through from country star to mainstream icon. Songs like Jolene, I Will Always Love You, and Coat of Many Colors showcased a voice that was pure and powerful, and songwriting skills that rivaled anyone in any genre. Dolly could make you cry with a ballad or make you smile with something up-tempo and fun. She was also becoming known for her look, that big blonde hair and rhinestone outfits that became her signature. But beneath the glamorous exterior was a serious artist and businesswoman who wrote her own songs and controlled her career. Dolly brought country music to pop audiences without losing her authentic voice. Dolly's voice remains strong and her personality remains as warm and genuine as ever. She's in her late 70s but shows no signs of slowing down. Young artists cite her as an influence, and she's become a rare figure who transcends politics and unites people through her music and kindness. And while Dolly brought country to the mainstream, the next artist brought piano-based rock that told stories everyone could relate to. Billy Joel. The piano man who rose to fame throughout the 70s with songs that told stories about real life and real people. That distinctive voice, those piano skills, the ability to write lyrics that felt like they were about your own life. Billy wasn't singing about fantasy or escapism. He was singing about working-class struggles, relationships, and the complexities of being human. Piano Man became an anthem for everyone who ever felt stuck in life. Songs like Just the Way You Are, Scenes from an Italian Restaurant, and Only the Good Die Young showcased his range from tender ballads to up-tempo rockers. Billy brought literary quality to pop songwriting, telling complete stories with characters and settings that felt real. He made the piano cool in rock music and proved you didn't need a guitar to rock. Billy represents the working-class hero, the guy from Long Island who made it big but never forgot where he came from. His songs remain timeless because they're about universal human experiences told with wit, intelligence, and genuine emotion. And while Billy told stories through his piano, the next artist brought soul and innovation that redefined what music could be. Stevie Wonder. Already a major soul and R&B star from the 60s, he continued defining and redefining music throughout the 1970s with unmatched vocal talent and innovation. Those years were Stevie's golden era, a period when he released some of the most important albums in music history. Talking Book, Inner Visions, Songs in the Key of Life. These weren't just collections of songs. They were complete artistic statements that pushed boundaries and explored new sonic territories. His voice could do anything, from tender falsetto to powerful belting, and every note carried emotion and intention. Songs like Superstition, Sir Duke, Isn't She Lovely, and Living for the City showcased his genius for melody, rhythm, and social commentary. Stevie played multiple instruments, produced his own work, and created sounds that influenced everyone from pop to hip-hop. He proved that a blind artist could see further than most, creating music that was both commercially successful and artistically groundbreaking. His 70s output remains a touchstone for musicians studying how to blend commercial appeal with artistic integrity. Stevie Wonder represents the pinnacle of what popular music can achieve when talent, vision, and dedication come together. And while Stevie brought innovation and social consciousness to soul music, the next artist brought heartland rock that spoke to working America. Bob Seger, the voice of Blue Collar America, the heartland rocker who gained massive fame throughout the 70s with songs about real life and real struggles. That raspy, powerful voice, those lyrics about working hard and living honestly, the ability to rock hard while maintaining emotional depth. Bob and the Silver Bullet Band created anthems for everyone who worked for a living. Night Moves, Old Time Rock and Roll, Against the Wind, Turn the Page. These songs weren't about glamour or fantasy. They were about memory, loss, perseverance, and the passage of time. Bob's voice carried weight and experience even when he was young. His music felt authentic because it was authentic. He came from Detroit, understood working people, and never talked down to his audience. Bob represents authenticity and dedication, proof that you don't need to be flashy or controversial to build a lasting legacy. And while Bob spoke to working America, the next artist brought poetic intensity and raw emotion that redefined rock storytelling. Bruce Springsteen. Though his commercial peak came slightly later, he started building his legend throughout the 1970s with gritty rock and hard-on-sleeve lyrics that felt urgent and important. That raspy voice, those epic songs that felt like short films, the ability to capture both hope and desperation in the same breath. Bruce's early albums like Born to Run and Darkness on the Edge of Town introduced a songwriter who took rock seriously as an art form. His lyrics were poetic but accessible, telling stories about people trying to escape their circumstances or find meaning in their lives. Songs like Thunder Road, Born to Run, and Badlands became instant classics that captured something essential about the American experience. Bruce brought literary ambition to rock music while maintaining the raw energy that made it powerful. His marathon concerts became legendary, 3- and 4-hour shows where he gave everything. Bruce represents longevity built on artistic integrity and genuine connection with audiences. His influence on rock songwriting and performance is immeasurable, and he continues inspiring new generations of artists. And while Bruce brought poetic intensity to rock, the final artist on our list brought outlaw spirit and timeless voice to country music, Willie Nelson. By the 1970s, Willie was already building his reputation as one of country music's most important voices and a key figure in the outlaw country movement. That distinctive voice, those incredible guitar skills, the refusal to conform to Nashville's polished sound. Willie wrote his own songs, sang in his own unique phrasing. That ignored conventional timing and looked like no other country star with his long hair and bandana. He helped create outlaw country alongside Waylon Jennings, bringing authenticity and edge back to a genre that had become too polished. Songs like Blue Eyes Crying in the Rain, On the Road Again, and Always on My Mind showcased a voice that was weathered, warm, and completely unique. Willie's guitar playing on his beat-up acoustic named Trigger became as recognizable as his voice. He brought jazz phrasing to country music, played by his own rules, and built a career on being genuinely himself. He influenced country, rock, folk, and Americana artists across generations. Willie proves that if you stay true to yourself, work hard, and love what you do, you can keep going far longer than anyone thinks possible. Thank you for watching. The 70s produced legends, and these singers stand at the top of that incredible decade. Remember to like this video, drop a comment telling us which of these artists means the most to you, and subscribe so you never miss our next story. These voices may have aged, but their music remains timeless. See you in the next one.